Well, today we gotta go to the laundromat. We gotta fix a couple dryers. You ever wonder what happens when those coin boxes get jimmied by people and they're trying to rob you, trying to get those coin boxes out? I showed the video where the guy was trying to break into the dryers and he broke into some of the washers. Now I showed you in another video how to fix the coin boxes when they get all jimmied. But one thing that happens is the coin boxes, they don't get out of the machines, are stuck in there. Now 2 of the dryers, he wedged them in there so bad that you could put the key in there all day long and that cheap ass key is just gonna bend and break. So what you have to do in this video, I'm gonna show you how to get those out the easy way. So stick around, you wanna see how to get this coin box out. Actually I got 2. This could be coming real helpful when someone breaks into your machines and they get them all jammed up. Hear that? That's the sound of money. You wanna know what the sound of money is? That's it. Ching, 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 ching. Ching, 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 ching. I know what you're thinking. You're like, I thought you were gonna work on coin boxes. Well, there's customers right there actually using the dryers I gotta get to. So I've got a dryer brand new, well, 2-3 years old. It's not getting heat. It's not producing any heat. So we're gonna take a look. Like I said, even brand new equipment breaks down. It's a stacked unit. Bottom here's running. Obviously there's no flame, nothing. Well, everything is in here, so we gotta take this cover off. There's 6 screws, I think. 5/16 screws, hex head. I'll show you the inside of this so you can see it. This is your control board. That's your igniter back there, if you can see it. This is your contactor, which runs your motors. This tells this to run and the igniter to run. So we're going to figure out why it's not getting heat. I think it's either the fresh air sensor or this igniter. Then on this side, we have your fan motor. Down here we have your thermistor. This senses airflow. If this doesn't work, you won't have heat either. Then here's your high limit switch. There's another limit switch there. The fresh air sensor's way back in there. Broken stuff. Now these used to have a light on them. See, there's no light on this, so that means this could be bad, or it's not sending power to it. So we gotta figure out why. Oldest trick in the industry, plug and play. Got another dryer down there that doesn't turn the drum, so it's out of order. But I know the control board's good, or the ignition. I know the ignition's good. So we're gonna see here real quick if it's bad. So now we're gonna go run the machine, see what she does. Now I just changed this. This didn't do it. Now this is the cabinet thermostat, which is right here. I changed that. Still nothing. There's actually 2 other sensors. Well, there's 3 or 4 really. The motor has a sensor in it called make sure it's spinning. You have the thermistor down here, and then you have another temperature, and this is a cabinet temperature sensor too. One of these is high limit. I can't remember which one. We're going to pull this one, and we're going to just substitute this for now. And if this thing kicks on, we know the sensor's bad. I'm going to bring this camera down here because I have a feeling we're going to see some magic. So we'll plug this in. See that? That light came on. Ooh, there we go. So it's actually this sensor right here, the exhaust, which I think is the high limit. This is set for the temperature that it's going to get to. If it's overheating, this will shut off the whole thing too. So this went bad. Now I'll let it run for a little bit just to make sure. That's all it is, this little guy right here. And on the back of it, this is a limit switch from 155. So once it gets 155 degrees, this thing cuts out. They must be dead. Let's go find one. I'm sure I got one. Now, what's kind of funny is these are brand new dryers. My old dryers were super old. And so you think none of my parts would fit these. You're wrong. I'd had customers in here. What we're going to do is we got to get this coin box out. I don't know if you can see it up there. See how they pried up in there? This thing won't come out. The Speed Queen makes this nice bracket here. On older ones, they don't have this wedge, and this is supposed to keep them from being able to get them out. It helps a lot, but it's not foolproof. So what we got to do is, these are rivets. I got to drill all 5 of those out and then put in screws later. So that's what we're going to do right now, drill them out. Look at that bracket. That's pretty cool. Piece of aluminum. I'll show you what we got left. Now what we gotta do is take a grinder and cut these off or pop them out with a hammer. And you can see that piece up above. See how they push it in? And since this is so wedged, this coin box, it ain't coming out real easy. Voila, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. It's a little full. That's what I was afraid of. I'd been letting this go for a little while because I didn't have time. And what happens is these coin boxes get jammed full and then the machine's kind of like having issues. Because it's probably been a week. I'll show you this. I mean, look at that. Just a week. That's in a week. Now what you gotta do is take this coin box and unscrew it, the back plate like I showed you before in the video, pull this plate off, and I'm going to make a template of this plate. I'm going to draw it on paper because I'm going to get some 1/8 inch metal and make a bunch of these and change them out later. But you can see what they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to get underneath that top piece, and they got to get around the side. There's the side lock, and there's the other side. Once they get that top and they can get in there, they can get this. Now in the dryers, he couldn't get them without really working at it. So the new design helps, but they're really desperate, they'll get in. Now the other thing, I just banged on this to try to straighten it out. The other thing you're fighting is that this locking plate is now on an angle and then they won't recess. That's the other issue you're fighting. There's a little more banging. Let's see if that does it. Now we're gonna have to take it all apart. Now after banging on it here, we got it all straightened out, but you can see where it's all marred up there. I bought extra new coin boxes just so look at that. Perfect. Now you put the cover back on, it's all done. That's what they look like in there. The lock nuts are on the back. A couple more to put in, they'll be done. I'm going to put the front cover on now. Got this door sensor. So these screws over here, there's 2 holes over there, There's 2 in the door, and there's, I think, 6 or so screws in that cover to where the lint tray goes. Now you saw me messing around up here, and you can see the screw laying there. There's actually 2 screws here that go through the top panel, the top of that panel. You have to take those out or you can't slide this out. On older Speed Queens, the hinge is actually attached to the door with some screws. Stuff made in the 90s. So even after you take out these 2 long screws, the door usually doesn't come off like this. Well, now we got it all back together. We need to obviously test it out. One thing I want to point out on stacked dryers, you see this panel has the arrows, the bottom panel doesn't. I know you're sitting there like, Keenan, how could we screw that up? When I bought this laundromat from the last people, they had them mixed mashed all over the place because they didn't care. They didn't even notice. Customers do. Go. Every time by now I fixed the dryer with no heat. I fixed the other one, this one, with the coin box problem. So now we gotta go do the other one. There's another one down here. I think it's this one. That one needs to come out. But I'm gonna do that another night because it's late. I wanna go home. Well, got 2 dryers fixed, it's time to go home. All in a day's work. Customers right in here using the place. See where they're going, folks? Them big damn washers. Every time. Those are the 60 pounders. That's why I gotta get bigger machines. They like big machines, folks. And I'm going to tell you what, they ain't coming here because it's a pretty laundromat. They're coming here because the prices are cheaper than everybody else in town. You don't need to be like dirt cheap, like insane, but even 50 cents a turn is a big deal to people these days. And I'm going to tell you, with inflation going up, the cost of goods and services going up, it's going to be a game changer for laundromats. It's going to be price war time. I know it's dark, but like I said, those big washers, they're using them for a reason. Now, Danny D'Angelo will tell you that people will not drive around with clothes to do their laundry. I hate to tell you, he's wrong. 100% wrong. I've seen him drive all over this town because they like one laundromat better than the other, and usually it's because of price. So the worst thing you can do is when you buy new equipment is price yourself right out of it. It's gonna hurt you every time. I've seen laundromats do free dry, some other things where they monkey with their washer prices, that helps. But people will drive around for a cheaper laundromat. They'll spend $3 or $4 more in gas to save 50 cents. They do it all the time. So another one of those things that you really got to watch, because a lot of times when you get equipment dealers that sell you equipment package, the first thing they'll tell you is, oh, the minute you get new equipment, you can raise your prices. You can have insane prices. You can be $1, $2 higher than your competition. That's wrong. Because even if that competition is a complete dump, There's a reason those people aren't selling those laundromats. It's because they're still getting business. Customers some will go to a cheaper laundromat that's run down because they're saving money. It's that idea of saving money. So if you're a nice place and you keep your prices reasonable and you can cut them just a little bit, you will put that guy out of business and some others, or take a lot of business away. Not that I condone, putting people out of business, but one thing with the laundromat, it's a cutthroat business. It's only a matter of time before somebody comes along and says, I can do that too, or they think they can do it better. Trust me, they'll smell that money and they'll think they can do it, and they'll want to come into your block and open up, and you'll get them. And every once in a while I get somebody around me going, hey, I could do that. I got this empty office space. Sometimes when they dive into those prices, and it's like some of you viewers have said to me, man, my equipment dealer's quoting me $200,000, $250,000, $300,000. Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing, they're going to pilgrim you really bad. They are going to make you pay through the nose for this laundromat. You don't need to, but they're going to make you, because they can smell that money they can make off you. So if you do not stay in the competition range and you do not stay with it, you will have competition, and it could put you out of business. It's happened before, and it'll happen again. In laundromats, there's a pie of customers, and there's only so many people in a town, in an area, you're going to have for customers. And what happens is, as you have more and more laundromats, that pie for each business gets smaller and smaller, because you're basically competing for the same customer base. This is not like Amazon, where everybody's your customer and you're stealing all of them away. Laundromats only have a certain demographic. So it's not like a rental house where you have tons of renters, or people that want to buy a car, or people that want a new roof on their house. Laundromats are totally different niche. It's a niche business, and you got to understand it, or you're going to get burned. So that's one thing I try to tell people, is be very careful where you put them. Be very careful how much money you spend on them. And if in doubt, put a laundromat, buy a business, or buy a building with other areas you can rent out. Like I said before, dual income will save you. Well, till next time, it's been fun, but I'm going to bed.